Welcome to the RPG Blender, where we give lesser played games or forgotten settings the roll the dice they deserve. I'm your host, Game Master George, thrilled to welcome you to the next chapter in our adventure. Our heroes are about to arrive at the day of the council. Will they be prepared for the challenge? Find out as we explore a new land of power and ancient secrets in Exalted. Preparations. Hello and welcome to the RPG Blender. I'm, of course, your host, Game Master George, and joining me as we return to Exalted is Craig. Say hello, Craig.
Howdy, everybody. This is Craig, who plays Dirham Barath. A fun fact.
You forgot about that, did you?
Always do. A fun fact about Dirham Barath.
Improv.
Is that I don't know. What is fun? What's fun?
It's any fact. Most of my facts aren't fun.
Besides taking notes, he is also a bit of an artist.
Oh, okay. What's his medium?
Just inkwell.
Okay.
What he's most accustomed to.
Nice. All right. So, moving on to the rhyming names. Not much I can do with that.
Perfect.
Going on to the rhyming name, we have Greg. Say hello, Greg.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg. I play Adramalik. And Adramalik's fun fact of the week is a follow-up to his fun fact of last week, where I said that I have a younger sister, and her name is Janisma.
Janisma. Okay, an NPC that I don't need to name. I'm happy with this. And Rich. Say hello, Rich.
What up, everybody?
And you play?
Oh, I'm sorry. I figured they would know by now. We're just jumping in the middle. We're just going to assume. That's fine. No, I play Rakeen, or Smiling Mountain.
And your fun fact is?
I am engaged to Janessa, you say? Who is that? What's her name?
Yeah, Janisma.
Thank you.
Oh, you're engaged to Janisma.
That's it. His little sister, just introduced, definitely engaged.
Boom! That's who the arranged marriage is to. Thank you.
See, when I go first, I can't piggyback on anything. I gotta just, it's a cold open. It's the hardest thing to do in a show.
Well, I already established that I have an arranged marriage, so it was just easy to be like, oh, and I said it was to house.
Well, I could have had one too. Nobody asked.
You didn't tell. Nobody asked.
But I'm saying the follow up is the question. I mean,
okay, let's pretend you went last. What's your fun fact now?
I'm an artist.
You were hired to do the artwork for their wedding invitations.
Right. Yeah, I was the calligraphy guy.
That was supposed to happen like last year. That's probably done.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for payment.
Yep. All right. So last time, our heroes spent most of the time fighting amongst each other about the nature of slavery, whether it is slavery to take a demon and dissolve its individualism and bind it into your essence. It was decided that that is not slavery.
Hell yeah.
I was outvoted.
Slavery bad. Don't feel like I need to say it, but I'm gonna say it. And then they each went their separate ways, each of them attempting to do a little investigation on their own. Dirham made his way to his favorite place in the world, a library, where he read a little bit about the history of Nachara, where he learned about Nachara's history of somewhat questionable acts in order to keep themselves safe, including regular demon summoning to gain an upper hand militarily against the barbarians which threaten them constantly. Adramalik made his way to 3 different mask shops after being rebuffed at the first 2. At the third one, learned that trying to replicate this mask would be highly taboo and likely to result in some serious issues. Did I miss anything there, Adramalik?
No, just that the first guy seemed to be the one who made custom orders with magic masks.
Yes, custom orders, which generally require you to
pay a lot
have some customizations that you would like done. Anyway, Mountain then made his way to a bar where he made an arrangement with a bartender and a local beer supplier or drink supplier, liquor, whatever it is, and that they would open a sister bar in Nexus. And he would, presumably as a way of getting this guy out of Nachara, to get them down to Nexus.
Also, I want to make money.
He wants to make money.
I want want to make money.
Altruism runs deep in this group.
I am very altruistic. I need money.
You need money to be altruistic. I understand.
Right,
Everyone
right, of
understands.
course.
Anyway, today we
Shackles of
jump in
capitalism.
right where we left off. Does anybody have anything that they do before going to bed that night?
Hmm.
I guess
Where
I
do you-
bathe. I bathe and stuff. I don't want to be smelly for the meeting.
Dirham, where do you sleep? Do you go
Hmm.
back to the boat? I'm pretty sure you indicated that you were not intending to.
Yeah, still got some prickly feelings about coexisting there. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, so where do you attempt to bed down? Do you live like a hobo? Do you go camp out in the woods? Or do you actually attempt to get a place?
Now that's a great question. I think, and it's becoming the evening, right? And do I have any of the remaining resources that we got from that first job when we were in Nexus?
Sure, you definitely have enough to rent a room for an evening.
Okay, so then I'll go that direction. I'll go try and find, not like breaking the bank. I don't want a hotel. I don't want like a,
You want a
like
room
a shack.
somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Room that has a lock, that's kind of my goal.
The lock requires you to go to a couple different places, but you do eventually find a place that has a lock.
Cool. I'll take it.
Okay. It is actually the second story of someone's building. They just regularly rent out the second story for people who need to stay in town for a night. It's not a true inn, but they promise you breakfast in the morning as long as you don't do anything too rambunctious with the evening.
Okay. And I offer to like do something to help out around the house as well in the process. Like if they need any sort of like repairs or anything alike, if there's like odds and ends that I can work on, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, it's not too hard to find things that are in need of repair in the house. It's a nice place, but there's always little things that need repair in a house.
I work my ass off to just get some of this like energy of frustration out, just like going back to things that I know, which is like tinkering, cobbling, just like all of like the
things that
trades and
ground
things
you.
that yeah, exactly.
Good to have an outlet. It's good to have a hobby. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Smiling Mountain. What do you do other than bathe? As we've established, you are hygienic.
Very hygienic. I go back and I do eat on the boat because there's always a good dinner on the boat. And there's no reason not to eat the dinner that's there. So I go and I eat there, and then after that, I spend a little bit of time in the evening just looking to see if I see anyone else kind of checking out the Hall of Records. I assume that getting an army in is very hard, but getting one or two people in is probably pretty simple. And so I would wonder if before an assault there would be scouts and things just kind of looking. And I would like to talk to such a person that might have a different perspective.
Okay, give me your perception awareness. While he is finding his dice, Adramalik, what do you do this evening?
So Adramalik is sleeping in the crew quarters.
That is true.
With the whole mess of his followers.
When you
next to him.
return from the mask shop, you find that all of the beds have scooched quite a bit closer to the one that you're intended to be using.
Okay. Well, I suppose I'll turn in for the night. And he will go to sleep. He'll try and like be quiet and stealthy as he like creeps over the sleeping bodies. Although I'm not sure if they're actually asleep or if they're just pretending.
No, they're not actually asleep there. The beds were just moved in. But as soon as you start heading to bed, there's a wave of people that
Yep.
it's
Okay.
bedtime now.
All right. I'm gonna try and get some Z's as best as I can.
Yep, surrounded by all of these eyes just staring at you all night, watching you sleep. Being a cult leader is fun.
I hope they get some sleep too. Like I genuinely hope they get the rest they deserve. You know, they've done a lot.
Do you wake up
You're
at some
trying to
point and tell
convince.
them go to sleep?
Well, I say I'm going to sleep, everyone. I hope you all can get some rest. And then I close my eyes and I lean back and I hope that I can get sleep. I don't know if there's a roll to determine if I'm like freaked out by this. I don't think it triggers my limit break, so I think I'm good. I think I get my Z's.
Okay. All right. So, Smiling Mountain, what's your role?
First we're gonna do a little bit of stunting. So
I
we go.
stare
Here we go.
really hard at the Call of Records.
well, no, so I try and find a building that's more like downwind of the building and everything like that, and I kind of just open my senses, and again I just try and think on what we saw while we were out in the wilderness, like the ways that they were looking, the ways that they were moving, and everything like that. Even the way that the one was up in the trees, because I imagine as she's with them, they'll hopefully kind of pick up on her mannerisms mannerisms and stuff, or just good mannerisms of a good scout, as obviously she was kind of more of a forward party kind of person. So I'm just trying to open myself up to those things and just take that in. And then as the wind blows past me, I'm just trying to take in the normal smells of the city and try and remember what my senses sense outside of the city and rekindle that.
Okay, give me your roll. You can have
Give
a
me
2
my
dot stunt.
stunts.
You can have a 2 dot.
Thank you.
You can have a 1 dot stunt now for that.
Yeah, I don't care. I just wanted it.
Look at that cajoling.
I need it. I already rolled. That's why I was like, I need some dice.
Save our cajoling for when we're fighting the rough battle.
Yeah, exactly. Hence why the controlling was happening, because I needed it. All right, but that means 9 explode. And so, oh wait, exploding just makes it 2. They don't explode.
Yes.
In this game. I'm wrong. So that just makes it 2. So that was 1, 2, 3, 5, and it was a 1 dot, so 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You watch. You don't see the approach of anything who could be described as beastmen or barbarians. As you are watching their approaches, you do, at one point through your vigil, see what looks like an owl far overhead.
What was that lady's name?
Lore of Autumn.
I'm gonna jump really, really high into the air and be like, Lore! Like,
You're going to jump really, really high in the air in the middle of the city?
well, I was on top of a roof. Yeah.
Is that better? Okay.
I mean, who's gonna see me? It's the
Okay.
middle of the night in
Dude,
a city.
I combusted into a lack of existence. You could jump as much as you want, my friend.
I
All
jump
right.
really high, but
I
I
thought
don't
both of you were the ones who were trying to keep it on the down low. Okay.
But I've already
No.
established myself as a hunter of bad creatures, so it's okay. But I'm like, Lord of Autumn. I like loud whisper as I jump toward the owl.
Give me your
Loud
strength
whisper.
athletics.
Oh my god.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll add some spice to that. Why not? Not as good. But 1, 2 after that. I think that's all of them. Yep, that's all of them. Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Are you using any kind of charm to leap that high?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
obviously.
What are you using?
The monkey leap.
Okay. You leap super high up into the air, and as you approach this owl, whispering, "Lore! Lore!" As you get closer, you can see that although it is a similar type of owl, the coloring doesn't quite match the form that she displayed.
I apologize to what I assume is a mundane owl for no reason. Oh, sorry, my mistake. And I just drip back down to the roof.
Okay. And then you go sleep at the guardhouse.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
think of what a cool owl that was. I go, it was a pretty cool owl.
Awesome. After your jump, the owl does fly away, probably spooked.
That makes sense.
Probably
Okay.
thought you were a predator.
So, that night, I need the resolve of Durham.
Resolve.
Yes.
Am I being ambushed?
No.
Being drugged? Yeah, what's happening?
No.
Shouldn't have
What's
trusted
my
that
resolve?
in.
Where's my resolve? The heck is resolved?
Resolve is one of your mental defenses. It is calculated by wit's integrity divided by 2.
Wits integrity.
Round it up.
Yes, round it up.
Nice.
Divided by 2, rounded up. 2.
Dang.
Okie dokie.
It's not bad. That's what I have.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Well, you don't
But
get to
but
roll it. It's just
I
the
appreciate
static
it.
value.
That's true. It
so
is just a static value.
Yeah, it's static.
It's the best you could get.
What?
If you don't spec into integrity and wits, why would you spend points in those skills when you could be stabby?
Because it's what
I get-
prevents you from being stabby on the wrong person.
Gotta say, I guess we're gonna find out.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure there's no possible downside to this this unfortunate occurrence.
As you sleep in this unfamiliar place, you find your dreams unsettling that evening. It's probably due to your overall uncomfortable nature right now with everything that's going on, all of the conflicting events that are happening. But you dream of the city, but the city is on fire. You see hordes rushing through it, and you see atop the Hall of Records what looks like a monstrous chimpanzee of enormous proportion, howling at the sky, razor sharp teeth within its mouth as it begins to pound on the roof of the building before locking eyes with you, and you jolt awake.
Whew. That's a weird one. Okay. What time is it when I wake up?
Do you have any way of discerning time in the middle of the night?
Well, I guess that's the first step. Is it still nighttime?
It is still night. If you look outside, it is dark. The moon is high in the sky, so you still probably have a number of hours left before the sun rises.
What the hell was that? I'm gonna just take a moment to recenter myself and just meditate on that awful experience to see if, I don't know, anything stirs up in me. And just at a minimum, I'm just sort of recentering from this and trying to just get back to a level mindset.
So what are you doing? Like
monster chimp?
Are you throwing anything at this, or are you just?
Sure. Yeah. I'll throw. I don't know. Let's say like wits occult, and he just goes back to his like normal, like simple practices of his
So you're literally
magical
just trying to
prowess.
center yourself in order to get back to sleep.
While just reflecting on that, like going into his basic practices, the average go-tos for how he like prepares himself from day to day, just like as a reset from that, and being like, what was that, and just tries to refresh his mind based on what it was, sort of solidify the memory of the dream before it goes away in case it is something important.
So are you trying to actually like throw lore at this to try to learn what it might be, or are you literally just?
I mean, I if there's something to learn, I guess so. But it seems like a feverish dream. It seems insane. But I guess if there is anything that he's somehow stumbled into while he's just like meditating and focusing himself, sure.
Okay, give me your intelligence lore.
Very well. Probably just a freaking batshit crazy dream, but
Nothing is crazy with us.
is it worth pumping? I mean, I guess I'm sleeping, right? So I could just pump a couple. I could pump a couple. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Someone senses your powers, they come into your room, they kill you,
Yeah, we'll pump a couple. Not enough to glow, but we'll pump a couple.
Nice.
Although I suppose I could just personal it, but whatever. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. Okay. As you meditate on this dream, as you attempt to recenter yourself, the name Roxy keeps coming back to you as you think back to her over and over, trying to recall anything that you had heard about her in your time. Eventually it does come to you that she is often known to appear in the form of a monstrous chimpanzee.
Crap. Okay. Obviously getting shaken a little bit more as it dawns on him. Whatever magical practice he was just doing, sitting cross-legged on his bed, just kind of like fizzles, and he's perfect. And then before he goes to bed, he's just going to do the same thing and try and meditate on the lore of Autumn. See if there's anything that connects, pretty much trying to tether from his powers rather than his own mind, sort of looking beyond his personal experience and seeing if the inherited can unearth something, pretty much trying to jumpstart that knowledge by using some of his manifested energy.
So you're trying to see if she's lying about this, or if you can actually find some spark of a bond within yourself.
Yeah, anything, because she had something and Dirham has nothing. So he's like, if there is even a remnant in what he is, maybe that's a way for him to pull at it.
Give me intelligence occult.
Okay. And I will be throwing a significant amount of personal motes. 4, 6, 8, 9. Another 9.
Okay. As you center yourself, attempting to meditate, it's hard to effectively draw upon whatever this is that is giving you this power to try to find whatever link there might be. But as you do so, as you attempt to dive within yourself, you can almost begin to feel something pulling you out toward her, or toward where you know that she was. Something tying you.
So though I'm not unearthing any memories, I'm actually feeling some sort of pull, like actually
connection.
Well, with a 9, okay. With a 9, you have some vague recollections of someone that you fought alongside long ago. Someone who was by your side as you strove to improve the technologies to build your perfect city, but whose goals eventually differed from yours and drifted away.
Okay. Darren takes a moment to reflect on that, probably several minutes, just sitting there sort of rolling that, I guess, sensation and vague reverberation of his past around his head. And then once he feels like he's grounded again from his traumatic dream, he'll try and go back to sleep.
Okay. It's not easy coming, but sleep does find you, unless you choose for it not to.
No, I'm good with the sleep. I'll take the sleep.
All right. Then the morning comes. Adramalik, how did you sleep?
I slept like a baby. Oh, that was wonderful. How did all of you sleep?
We slept wonderfully. It was so refreshing.
Well, that's very good to hear. Well,
They all have bags under their eyes from watching him sleep all night.
Some of them do.
I knew it.
Well, I guess
But
we
they
should get...
all, without exception, have like those weird indents that you get when you like sleep on your hand on your face, weird or something along those lines. Like they were propping
Well-
themselves up to watch him, and then kind of drifted off unwillingly.
Oh my god.
Hey, you
They all
wanted a
got-
cult.
I did want it. I thought it would be fun. I
Having fun?
feel
mean,
terrible.
It is.
You're in the
I'm
punished
doing. I'm
position.
helping these people. I'm doing a good thing. Adramalik is doing a good thing. Okay. Whew. All right. Cults are bad, though. Cults are bad. Okay. Adramalik will say to everyone, "Why don't we all go to the kitchens today, and we can all help prepare the meals together for breakfast."
But wouldn't that remove Stephanie? Stephanie?
Yeah.
Is that her name? Is that her name?
Yes.
Wouldn't that remove Stephanie's sacred duty?
I think since she's in my bedroom at the moment, she can stay in and sleep there, and we'll have everything prepared. She has one day off, and I'll do this every Tuesday. Like I said, every Tuesday when we come around, I'll take over someone else's duties, and that way we'll all feel like we're sharing that bit of a load. But don't worry, none of you have to go out and fight monsters and steal things and whatnot. I'll still take care of that.
Okay. Yep. They follow you to the kitchens where you assist them in cooking a delicious meal. How good are you at cooking?
Well, he is a vegetarian, so he's just really making salads and like cutting fruit platters and stuff. So.
Not that I know firsthand, but I'm pretty sure that vegetarians may have a little fancier cuisine than salads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
It's okay. Ostracize that section of our fandom. It's all right.
he
he more
gets
means,
food
like-
cooked for him. He
Yeah.
doesn't know how to prepare it himself. He's doing the best he
Uber
can.
eats these grapes. I eat these salads. That's his life.
So, Smiling
keep
Mountain, I
starting.
assume you come back for breakfast?
Yeah.
You come back for breakfast, and the pickings are a little different today. There's salads and grapes. There's no real meat, but there is salad, many salads spread across there of different types. George doesn't know what a salad is, but
I just pour all of it into whatever the biggest bowl is, and I just keep on eating.
there is a salad bowl like that's empty that's left off to the side for you.
Yeah. I pour a bunch of the stuff into there, and I eat that, and then I go back for like 5 helpings of fruit, and then I'm set.
And Dirham, do you return to the boat in the morning?
Yes, I'll like help out around this person's place and whatnot, and have breakfast and just like thank them profusely. And
The breakfast that they give you is not quite as extravagant as what you receive from Madramalik most mornings, but it is hearty, a hearty porridge with some meat on the side. You're not entirely certain what the animal is, but it tastes good enough.
I'm good with it. It's okay. I came from humble beginnings. I can handle a humble meal.
Okay, and then you
Head back to the boat.
all right. You arrive back at the boat as breakfast is finishing up, and Adramalik, I assume you were there eating, right?
Yeah, I'm out there eating with everybody.
All right, then you see Dirham approaching.
Ah, good morning.
Good morning. How did everybody sleep here?
Everyone that was with me slept excellently, didn't we all?
We did. It was the most restful night's sleep I ever had.
I'm glad. I meant more specifically points to Adramalik and Smiling Mountain.
Oh, slept good. I saw a cool owl, and then went to sleep.
Oh, that's a good sign. Seeing owls in your dreams is always very, very
No,
good
I
news.
saw the owl when I was awake.
Oh, well,
I dreamt about throwing barrels down the hill at the man with the mustache. It was a weird dream.
very strange. You should tell me about that on another time. But for today's agenda, what were we all feeling?
Well, Adramalik, did anything happen with you while you were asleep?
Did anything happen with me? Well, let's see. I slept with everyone in the common sleeping area. Stephanie slept in my room, and that actually, I think that was a really great suggestion. Thank you for that again, Rakeem. I thought that was excellent. Really, I think the change in pace, like normally I sleep to one side, but this time I had to move to a different side because the mattress wasn't the same, and because of that,
Okay. I don't have time for whatever this is, but it
you
sounds
asked
like
me how I slept. I'm just
I
telling-
meant your
You did ask.
your dream.
Oh,
I didn't really dream about much. I mean, I dreamt that I was back home. I dreamt that I was playing marbles with,
I'll get it.
I was playing marbles.
But
But
nothing.
that was
nothing impactful, jarring, or almost invasive.
I mean,
No.
I lost to Jasper, but aside from that cretin beating me up. I mean, no.
Dirham starts like pondering, and you see him start to fade off as he's just like thinking.
Did you
Dirham,
have your dreams attack?
Maybe. I had a vision or dream that was a vision or just a nightmare. I don't know, but it was specific. It was of Nachara burning, and a form that I was able to recollect is something that Roxy takes, the queen of these forces, the cannibal queen, a large,
she's like,
imposing, monstrous chimpanzee.
I beg pardon, but wasn't she like thousands of miles away in the city of Malanka?
Yes, which is why I'm saying this was a dream. But
So you had a bad dream. You know what you should do? You should eat up. This is some good salad. You might find it to your tastes.
So
There's something special about the salad today.
it could
I'll see
also
if you
be
can figure it
very. It could be more symbolic. Like you said, you saw her attacking,
the city was on fire
and you saw her here.
in a giant monstrous form atop the city. Yes.
But
Well, it could
she's
just be
not
more.
intent on coming here, right? I mean,
But her
that's why she
forces
said-
are here, so it could be more symbolic. Or somebody else might know that they are backing the other force and maybe sending these things into your brain. You've never had visions before. Has he ever had visions before? You've never had visions before. Why
Aside
suddenly
from the one that you all had.
Yeah, so this doesn't make sense. If you had prophetic knowledges previously, this would make more sense to me, but you don't.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like you just had a bad dream. I mean, if you were sleeping here on the boat,
No.
you might have been a bit more relaxed wherever you were sleeping last night. I'm sure it wasn't as accommodating. So I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Theorem hardly ever tells me about this place, so I do not think this is remote.
Do you have bad dreams often? Is that what that means? He doesn't tell you about them because he keeps
Oh.
them to himself?
I don't tell people my dreams.
I barely dream.
So there you go. But this was memorable enough for you to bring up.
It felt real.
You know what you should do? You should keep a dream log. You know, I have... Mark, could you get some of that paper over there in the binder? Yeah,
Mark trips over himself, rushing over to get the.
I have my own journal. Thank you.
I just stare straight at Theorem. I'm not even all the clattering and clamoring behind. Okay. I think we should maybe try and get out of the council today if they know anything about Roxy.
Roxy.
Yes. And her involvement in the Horn. If they have no idea, then it wouldn't make sense for them to be attacking with the stream, and maybe the stream was really prophetic.
I mean,
if
to
they
your
do
point,
know,
if they react, that would
then they
be
know, and then it may mean that someone is trying to sway you one way or the other. Not for anything, but all of us are very overtly around each other, with each other. We've come and gone from this city many times, and some of us have been looking for things very specific through the council. So they may be aware of our presence, and we have a meeting. So they may just be watching us and seeing exactly what we're doing anyway, similar as we are trying to do with them.
If you were referring to me about trying to locate the source of their masks, I do believe I found the custom mask maker who made the masks for the council. If you would wish to talk with him, we can go this morning.
interesting.
Why? What we do?
Well,
If you found him, then what? He's not going to give us any information, and if he's so important that he makes masks for secret people, he is not in a position in which we can really assail him. So there's nothing we can threaten him with. There's nothing we can do to him, and there's nothing we will be able to do to bribe him with if he is such a good position within the city, right?
well, the city is going to fall when the forces get here of the Horde, and I'm sure he values his own life very much. I mean, having a shop here of such renown, it's rather difficult to up and move, and also not that he would want to. He has all of his contacts and buyers here. But if we could persuade him, perhaps just learn the name of the person who placed the order, we could locate them and perhaps see if they are tied to this secret organization.
Well, what? So if I was a person who owned a shop here, my view is not as vast as to see, oh, here are the forces that are coming. My view is on the immediate. The city has always kept me safe. It has been safe 100 times more, which is why a lot of people are not leaving this city, even though this attack is coming. The only people who are lightly worried is the guards, and they're probably only worried because they lose a few people every time, even though I have distinctly told them that this is going to be much worse than normal.
So then consider this practice. How about that? If we can't convince a simple merchant that his life is in danger, what hope do we have convincing the full organization?
Because the full organization has a better view of things and may actually know that this is much worse than previous. That's what.
Very well,
So
then. If you see no point in talking to this man, I mean...
That doesn't
we
mean that it's
can-
pointless to know him. If you want, you can perhaps check through his records, look into his mask making, see if he has a spare mask of one of their masks that you can give me, and then I can send out and track the other members. But our meeting is at what time today? Oh,
Well, they
it
just
is
said that there
today,
was-
so we don't have a lot of time.
Someone will probably come to the boat, like you said. They know where to find us.
And as if I on cue,
Crap.
you see a messenger rushing to the edge of your boat.
Oh, well, here they come now.
Maybe it's just for something else.
Maybe, yes.
Who greets the arrivals? Do you have a specific member?
Horace is probably the one who's up in front, but if Rakeem pushes Horace aside, he's not gonna stay.
Yeah, I don't want Demon Horace touching anything.
Demon Horace?
I think Horace is a demon.
Oh, okay. Wait, you think Horace is a demon?
So you had Horace talking normal
From the interaction, remember?
And then
you think he was
came
replaced?
back from looking for the mask, he was like, "Hello, yes, bye, bye."
I found the mask place. Follow
yeah,
me.
that was it.
Oh,
And then
okay.
he was
Follow
like,
me.
here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, he was very just like before he was like, "All right, boss, you got it," and then he's like,
Okay.
"Now he's a little too good now. I don't trust him."
We didn't throw anything at it, but we definitely feel like
Oh, that guy's a demon now. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
definitely did.
Of course.
All right.
Anyway.
So, Rakeem, Mountain, Smiling Mountain.
That's here. I'll turn my name too.
You make your way over to the edge of the boat. The messenger comes up to you and hands you a sealed envelope.
Thank you very much. Do you want some food?
Sure.
All right. I show him down to the food and I say, "There's some salads and fruits. All right, guys."
Bring this dude into the bottom of a boat with a roof full of cultists.
He looks around. He sees everybody in the identical clothes except for the three of you. He sees the looks being given to Adramalik, and
I
he
just give him
very
an apple.
slowly sits down at one of the tables and carefully eats.
I give him an apple and I say, "If you just want to go, that's okay too."
I would never be so rude as to refuse hospitality.
And I've given it to you. Here's an apple and an orange, and you have a good one.
Thank you, sir. And he swiftly walks off of the boat.
Dear mouths
from
to
the
that dude as he
giant
leaves.
man.
Yeah, dear mouth to the dude as he leaves. I know.
Somehow it doesn't help him.
Rakeem, did you scare the messenger off? He was
you know
sitting down to
me.
eat.
Yeah, you know me. Always scaring people.
What did he bring?
Oh, he brought a sealed envelope.
Well, we can't eat that. I'm
I-
kidding.
I'll hand it over to Dirham because I don't have the best of lucks with envelopes.
All right, you open it up and you read it. It is an invitation to the meeting of the High Council of Nachara at the height of the day, lasting at most until sunset.
Ooh, that's a long time block.
It
They
is.
give us quite a bit of time. That's very good to hear that they're willing
We have
to
a
talk
lot
with
of
us for so
stories
long.
to tell, so this is probably good.
Okay. It lists a location in the town, in the city. If you have a map, correct? You got a map.
Yes, my followers.
Okay. So then looking at the map, you can see that it appears to be a large storehouse on the western edge of the city.
And we're docked on the east side?
North.
North side. Okay. So can we equate how long approximately it would take us to get there?
Oh,
Just so we know how much time we have.
doing a brisk walk, it should, since you have the map and it shouldn't be too hard for you to make your way there, it would be no more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
So we do have time if we
don't
want
really
to.
have time because if we went to the
minute
mask,
details.
Well, so we have a little bit of time before midday. I can make my way to the mask shop. I can slip in there, steal some of his records. We can have a little look-see over and...
know nothing about those records because we would still need time to research what we found.
well, I mean, we could find the names of the people who ordered specific custom
Who could
masks.
just be servants or people 3 times removed. It does
Well,
not
yes,
help
of
us in this
course. I mean,
moment.
but knowing a servant of someone who serves the High Council, that
It
is
would be-
information.
It would be rushed. I still think it's worth it if we need it, but right now it would be rushed. There's no.
Well, then what do you suggest we do with the remainder of the morning? I mean, we could sit here and enjoy this wonderful breakfast.
we
that
should talk about
has a
what we're going to
special-
tell them.
Okay, what do we want to tell them then?
Well, this is
They're
here
going
we-
to die?
Here we go. What are we going to tell them?
They're
Well,
going
there's
to
a lot
die.
to at Malik. There's a lot to tell them. So first, let's let some ground rules down. Nobody say the word anathema about us.
Anathema.
You mean anathema?
Thank you. Yeah, don't say that. Thank you, Tom. All right.
Always here to help.
Good one, Tom. Nice, very nice.
So we're not going to mention ourselves as that unless we're saying that we are not that. Okay.
I don't know why they would think we are that.
But
I'm not going to say. I don't know why you're
that's
looking
it.
at me. I'm not the person who
I'm looking
flashed
at
out of
everyone.
existence.
I'm looking at
and
Boris. Stephanie's over there. Dirham. I'm looking at everybody.
They're not going to say
I
I
will
mean-
not say anathema.
You just said it. You said it right then. You
At
just
the
said we
meeting.
went.
At the
meeting,
meeting.
at
I
the
won't say it at the meeting.
You will not refer
all
to
right.
us in a positive or neutral manner as in that, and unless it is about that we are not. So unless you're refuting that fact, then I'll bring it up. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
To everyone,
all right.
to myself even. We're all
Right,
making
right.
regardless.
Okay. As far as our direction here, I think that the point to go about this is not to tell them what needs to be done, but rather try and find out more about this situation. We have information, but we need more insight on what's going on, and they can help us figure out the perfect picture. For us to say that there's a barbarian tribe coming to get them and they're going to fall is going to be irrelevant. They've been dealing with it for a century. This is not new news, and it's not going to make them turn any heads. However, and Mountain, I think that this was a perfect point. Details like Roxy, for instance, and what the Hall of Records has that is so imperative. These are the questions that we might be able to glimmer some details about it.
Do we honestly think they have any idea what the barbarians are after, though?
I absolutely think they know exactly what they're after is. I think they guard it very preciously. I think if they didn't know...
Well,
what
they
it
got
was-
knowledge because they've collected knowledge, but they certainly don't know the specific piece that the barbarians are looking for.
I think they know exactly what they're looking for, because I think that's why they're fighting so hard to protect it. Would you
Well,
really
that's
go
as
through-
much conjecture as me conjecturing about finding information about the locations and names
Are
of the
you
servants.
really defending your bad mask plan while we're trying to figure out what we're going to do at the council?
Okay, all right. Tell me how you really feel. Goodness.
I am
Tom,
telling you how I
believe
really
that?
feel. We have 4 hours, Adler Malik, please.
Okay, well, go ahead and discuss it with your friend then, if you don't value my input.
To
And
your-
Adramalik will storm off. He'll grab a bowl of salad and he'll, in a huff, go off to his own room.
I was gonna actually make a point to his. Okay, he's gone. Okay. You know, he actually had a point.
It was
If
conjecture.
well, if they don't tell us what it is, perhaps they don't know, and perhaps we can help them find out what the actual issue is. Another point of note might be putting the carrot out there so that the tribe doesn't come in.
I think they would have done. So this is my thing, and this is why I don't think they have it, which I was trying to explain before somebody compared it to a bad mask plan.
Go on.
Why would you go through all the trouble of losing men that you have to retrain, losing resources, increasing your wall defenses, which they have probably done throughout history, upping your reliance on demonic forces and things of that nature? All these things that they've had to do, if they could just put the carrot outside, if they why would they not? It must be something they want. There's no record that's worth that. Yeah, if the normal city would dump a library outside for a horde if they thought they would make them go away, but they don't.
I agree with what you're saying, but coming from an outsider, provoking might push them into saying something that they don't want to.
Oh, so you're saying
Sticking someone
use
like
it.
Adramalik on them to provoke these individuals to the point in which they get so frustrated as to tell us more information, that angle has possibility, especially if we have from noontime until sundown. Just as another tactic, I think that because we don't have so much information on them, we need every different angle of approach. There can
I
be
don't
a
disagree.
bad guard and a good guard in this respect. But of course, we only have so many threads.
We do. And the other thing is, what do we want to tell them? Do we want to tell them that there's a shape-shifting monster who's going to destroy their walls instantaneously?
Not until our hand is forced.
Okay.
But I think the line in which our cards are played is important. And hopefully, information can be given for information. At a minimum, if we don't get an answer in our favor, we need to find out what's going on so that if we have to act in whatever action we deem necessary, we can do it and have no regrets.
I agree with that, 100. So then I think we should have a phrase or something that lets us know that it's time to start dealing out new cards.
That's fair. That's a good point. We need him back in the room, though. Can we get him back in the room? Is he... Dirham pokes his head out the hallway that Adramalik went to see if he's just around the corner or if he's just gone, and
He's completely gone.
looks around for a servant.
They're everywhere.
They're not servants.
No, they're cockroaches.
Looks for a cult member. Excuse me. Did you see where Adramalik went?
Did they see where you went, Adramalik, or did you
I
walk
wasn't
out the thing and then
exactly-
go invisible?
Hiding. No, I wasn't hiding. I very clearly went towards my room.
Oh.
Let's go to that scene now.
Yep. Okay. Yes. He was going toward his chambers.
Okay, thank you. And Dirham will poke his head back into the room. I'm gonna go get him. Give me a moment. We need him on the same page.
I don't disagree. You want me to stay here?
No, come.
Yeah,
Why
okay.
would I? No,
I was going to say,
come.
good call. I don't know.
Come. Come, please. Yes, come. But we need him on the same page. Let's.
I'm not disagreeing with that. We have a lot to do.
As much as I love you ruffling his feathers, this is not the time for feathers to be
I'm
ruffled.
not trying to ruffle feathers. I was trying to finish a point.
I know, big guy. I know. Pats him on the.
I'm actually super easily placated. I'm like,
and we go towards his quarters.
Okay. Adramalik, you reach your quarters and you see as you enter it, Stephanie still sleeping in there, not on your bed, on the floor at the foot of it.
Adramalik will go up to her. Stephanie, sorry. How was your night?
It was strange, but I found a comfortable place.
Uber wasn't too loud, was he? Sometimes he gets a little bit of night terrors, and some of the other people were complaining about bad dreams and all that. So.
He was loud at first, but then once I let him have the bed, he was very comfortable.
That little. Adramalik will shake his head dryly and approach the bed and pull back the covers. This guy he's hogging the.
Yeah, you see Uba there, fully spread eagled, as large as he could possibly be, just starfished in the middle of the bed at a weird angle, so not even lined up properly.
Yep. Adramalik is going to grab and pluck a grape from the nearby plate, and he's going to flick it at Uba while Uba's sleeping.
Give me a dexterity athletics check, please.
Oh boy. Dexterity athletics. All right. Dexterity 5, athletics 3, so that's 8. Do I get a little bit of stunting for
Yes, you can have a stunt. You can have a dot stunt.
All right, and my grape flicking roll is 8 successes.
Oh
Whoa.
my god.
you kill your monkey with
Goes through his little monkey head.
You flick the grape at him just as Uba is going for a big sleepy yawn. It lands in his mouth. It pops a little bit like grapes do when you chew them, and he is startled awake by the sudden rush of grapey goodness in his mouth.
Oi, Uba, what are you doing? You have your own bed, but you took the bed from Stephanie. This was supposed to be her night. What are you?
Better bed.
Yes, well, I wanted to go to my bed now also, so I would appreciate it if you could, shoo.
And he'll make a shushing or shush, like a go again.
Uba will scramble up because Uba obviously knows that this is not his place. He is not supposed to be in the bed, I assume. At least not like this.
He can. Sometimes I allow him to sleep with me, but he's not supposed to hog the entire
He's
thing.
way taking advantage of the situation.
He definitely took advantage of the situation.
Yep.
And he should know it. He should know it.
And he does. Is this a 4-poster bed with the little whatever the column
Yeah, it's
thing
got
is?
the little
Great.
cord.
Then he scrambles over to one of them, climbs up it, and then perches at the top to watch you.
Stephanie, I'm
You see Stephanie peeking up over the bottom of the bed, looking at you and Uba.
I prepared breakfast for everybody. If you want to go out with the family, help yourself.
You prepared breakfast?
Yes, as part of your celebration of our shared family, you were able to spend the night in my room, and I was able to spend the night in your room and fulfill some of your duties. Consider me lightening the load.
Do I have to do your duties?
No. Sorry, you weren't there when I gave the whole spiel. No, you don't have to go out and fight and all of that. No, of course not.
Okay, good. I left that life behind me.
I know. I'm sorry. Please, go and eat.
Okay. And Stephanie stands up, packs up her stuff, and then leaves.
Opens the door with her large calloused hand and thick wrists from murdering for years.
She wields those knives good for a reason.
You got one bullet in the chamber, apparently. Okay.
She opens the door, and as she does, and she makes her way out, you see Dirham there.
Oh.
Did you finish coming up with a plan? I'll just be quiet and nod my head when we're ready to go.
Started, and you left midway, so we haven't finished.
Well, my input wasn't valued, so I saw no reason to contribute.
You left before I could value, so that's on you.
I beg your pardon?
I was explaining to Mountain that your process is antagonistic, which can help to shake trick these people into maybe giving us some information. When you provoke people into saying, well, you probably don't know what's going on, and you have quite a knack for doing that, that could, in fact, help us in this process while we try to not leave. Can we in the room?
Oh, yes, please,
Okay.
of course.
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
Goes inside, looks for a chair or something.
There's like no furniture at all. There's like a mound of like
Pillows
baubles and shit and like pillows in the corner, and then there's like like what do you call that, like a circle table with a platter just filled with grapes. That's, you could like move the platter and like sit on the table because it's kind of like a low table, but it's not really a chair.
Uba sees you looking around for a place to sit and scrambles off of his perch over to his bed in a very protective manner.
Okay, let's at least get this sorted out. Just so that we're all on the same page. The point here is that we have only so much that we can lay out, right? But there's a lot of information that we need to glean. Whether or not we can succeed in actually convincing these people that there needs to be a compromise between these warring forces is besides the point. What we can discover will help us decide what we have to do, right?
I agree. Very well. Well, what did you discover when you went to the library yesterday?
Well, besides the fact that obviously there's something of note within the Hall of Records that the tribe wants. We know that. This has been going on for a century, and it has been escalating. However, all of the cards have been in Ichara's hand. They know where they're going, they know what they want, or they at least understand their destination, so they can defend it. So they have probably the other half of this picture. However, the public records aren't going to tell us what fabled relic or rite or magical force or whatever this thing is that seems imperative for the barbarians that they need to come here time and time again and storm this city. They know it exists there. Whether or not they know what it is a different story. Something that maybe can be provoked.
I feel like maybe perhaps we're looking at the wrong angle for this. I mean, it's good to know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the information of knowing what the barbarians are after isn't worth going for, but ultimately we just have to let the council know the threat. I mean, they haven't fought people like us before. If they have...
I agree with you, and I think that that is a card to be played at the end. I think that as far as gleaming as much information as possible before we explain just the severity of the situation is key.
And are we planning on going against the law of autumn? Are we considering changing our alignment here? I mean, given if they prove that they are protecting something that we can't allow to fall in the hands of these barbarians.
I think, and he looks between Mountain and Adramalik, I think our alignment is to us and our purpose. I think that these are two different factions that have two different goals. I think compromise can be achieved, but we can also fail in that too. I think we're trying to make the best out of a very dangerous situation for everyone in between those who make the decisions. I don't think I'm bound to the lore of autumn, and I don't think we are bound to either one of these sides. So I think before we put all of our coin in one direction, we learn the picture and then decide where we land. I think that's what our approach should be here. Whether or not we convince them is besides the point. There will be time before this faction arrives, and we can decide what we need to do following that. If we can convince them, then that buys us more time and maybe a peaceful resolution. But I think that we can all admit that this is a lofty gamble.
Well, we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't think it was the right thing.
It's at least the right step. Whether or not Nachara needs to be defended or the Lore of Autumn and the Cannibal Queen should be given the proper footing in this place.
You know, the more you say that, the less and less I'm liking them.
Yeah, it has a bit of a stink to it.
There's
I have
very,
to say.
very wrong about eating meat, let alone human meat.
I just think that if you were going to be named something, you'd probably hope for a better nickname than Cannibal Queen, unless that's what you're going for, and then that means something too. But
I think that's the case.
Yeah, but that's for us to figure out. Again, lots of details here, and I do believe she has a giant monstrous chimpanzee form. That might just be a glimmer from my dream, but I think that might be true, especially if she is the teacher of Lore of Autumn who has already shown that she can shapeshift. She learned probably from a better shapeshift.
Understood.
So just to summarize my thoughts, here's and both of you reflect on this. Let me know if there's any other things that we might be able to pull, because We're looking at strings, but we only have so many. So items of note for us to bring up is Roxy, the Cannibal Queen, and seeing how they react to that. Lore of Autumn as well, the Broken Horn Tribe, as well as the Hall of Records and what may or may not be in there. Those are the main details that, based on how they react, how they respond, what they give and what they don't, we can get a little bit more of our picture, right?
I agree. I would also add, we don't really have a full assessment of the city defenses. We know that they have a city guard, and we know that they have strong walls, but other than that, we don't know if they have any other kind of armaments or weapons or special soldiers. It's possible they have a champion of some kind, perhaps a dragon-blooded or something, that will serve in the defense of the city, and knowing that information as well could prove useful in gauging whether or not they think the threat is not real enough. Because if they have a champion, or if they have something that's protected them this long, I'm sure if they think it can't be defeated, they won't worry about any attacking force, no matter whatever we tell them.
Just with what I know about warfare and everything like that, these people seem like wall fights, correct? Like and I'll do a roll if you like, but when I look at how the history of these people go and what you generally assume barbarians have, you rely on strength your walls norm. So even just proving that they can take down walls normally enough.
Yes, it seems likely that they probably rely on the strength of their walls,
especially against a barbarian horde. It's just generally what people do.
And historically, as Durham said, it's worked for hundreds of years.
So the only thing that will probably convince them that the threat is real is that they are going to destroy their walls very easily. And that is the bit of the trickle of information that we can give them. Is you're not dealing with the same enemy you've always dealt with, you're dealing with more, and they do have the capability of destroying your walls. Let them murmur it out for a bit and then tease what we can out. So even the information and the strings that we have, we don't have to give up all at once. And if they're like, well, who is this enemy? You'd be like, well, what enemy would be threatening you? What if Nexus decided to destroy you? What if it was the Empire come to bring you the heal? We don't have to give them all of the information immediately, especially if we are looking for information to get better.
I agree, partly, but I would say we don't want to outright
I just want to
lie
jump in
to
here
them.
quickly. One thing, it would be called the Realm, not the Empire. Just to get that out there, that would be the proper name for it. The Realm.
They may have their own scouts. I'm sure they know the origin of this horde being barbarian in nature. I don't know if we could perhaps paint it as the realm attacking. I said
they have another ally.
It's possible, but if we mislead them too much, they may not trust us later.
It's not about misleading. So the thing is it's about pointing out there that we know they have a more powerful ally, which is not a misleading. And if they're like, well, who is it that you think could threaten us? So who is it you think they couldn't threaten you? Do you think Nexus could threaten you? Do you think
I see what you're saying?
But I agree, we can't just outright lie. And I'm not talking about lying. We're just not giving them everything all at once. So we're not just going to say, oh, they have an ankylosaurus that's going to come across them.
Each step that we take, while not revealing the entirety of the statement, gives us a little more of insight on just how much they're openly dealing with us. If they truly trust us and are cooperative, we can get a lot more out of this. We can discover a lot more and find out where their intentions lie. But for a council that hides their identity via magical means of customized masks, so you can't even see the individual, information is key.
I also do not know if we're going to be actually talking to the council themselves. We could just be talking to demon puppets wearing masks.
Also fair.
Wearing those robes, for all we know.
Would we have any way of detecting that, since we now know of their origin?
Wouldn't matter.
As long as they're a mouthpiece of the council, it really doesn't matter, I would say. I mean, as long as we're communicating with the council in some fashion, I think it's fine if they bring body doubles that are demons, as long as they're espousing the views that the council holds, I assume it wouldn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference for conversation. It makes a difference for power. So, for example, there is no power in me being there. My physical form poses no threat to a puppet.
It's a safety precaution.
And I do not know if this is true, but these people have been smart enough so far, and we know they rely heavily on demons and disguise demons and have masks and all sorts of other weird things. So this would not be surprising to me. It could be one person wears my mask, you put the mask on a demon, and it says what you say. I don't
Then perhaps
know. I'm saying that I don't think physical threats are going to work. So if you guys are like, well, Rakeem, show him who's boss, I just don't think it's going to matter.
I have something that I
it
can do. If I look over the area before we go to it, since they gave us the location, I could scout out some areas that are better for hiding and better for vantage points. And if you and Dirham were the ones to take part in the conversation, I could lurk in the shadows and note the location of any watchers, and I could perhaps even follow them.
You could give it a shot, but I assume they know about you. That's all.
Out of
I'm
out of
saying.
character, I have a charm that if I
Yeah.
watch a location for a specific duration, I can make stealth rolls and bank them
Yep.
and then use them down the line.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you that I think they know of your presence already, for sure.
Well, they also, if they've been keeping tabs on me, know that I recently went out shopping for masks. I can go and purchase a mask and then have one of my followers stand in for me.
Go for it, I guess. It's up to you. I don't know how this theoretical magic I'm describing would work. Anyway, they could actually be there. I don't know.
Andrew Malik, do you
situation.
not? I mean, I'm not opposed to your suggestion, because if 3 of us showed up, if 4 of us showed up, if this whole boat showed up, they would probably still hold council regardless. And I think Mountain's probably onto something here, that there's probably precautions put into place in case meetings became unruly. We're walking into their
I have
realm.
no doubt of that, of course.
Do you want to be part of the actual conversation? Because if you do that, I think that getting that potential extra insight into the situation could be valuable, but that also means that if you want to have any sort of say in this, you won't.
Which is part of the problem, because your nature was part of the plan.
Well, I trust you two. You've obviously been at each other's back for longer than I've known either of you, and I think you're capable enough, if you so choose, to hold the conversation by yourselves.
If that's what you want to do, I just want to make that clear. We don't know what we're walking into, and
Yeah, what I said could be wrong.
Then it would probably be best to have someone on the outside. I don't mind being that person.
okay, then I support it. It's smart to have additional eyes of a keen position, being able to take in as much of the situation as possible. I will say, now that I'm thinking about that as an additional aspect to our meeting, if you're found, we look all the worse.
Oh, we look all
And
the better. A secret society that takes as many precautions as themselves would understand.
potentially subterfuge against in preparation of a meeting is still that.
And it's their
although
house.
they may respect the action, that doesn't mean they appreciate it.
And it will still be a chip we played against us.
But that you are correct that they could also potentially see value in individuals who are not stupid, but also who knows what a secret society that constantly uses the machinations of demons and potentially other things. To your point, we don't know just how much their arms have increased. This has been a battle that's gone on for a century, and before it probably starts with sticks and stones, and now there's a city built around what the focus is.
Well, the thing that you said, these men, or whoever they are, and their demons, are but that, men and demons. And we are...
And Adramalik catches himself from saying the A word and then just gestures.
We are who we are.
Good job. Nice.
And then he'll just casually start plucking grapes from the grape bowl and just popping them in his mouth.
Okay, well,
I do not like this course of action, but I am okay with it.
If you don't want me to go...
I want you to stay with us. That is what I would like you to do. But
he's worried about you being separated from us.
or if you have some insight that we don't have.
I honestly don't know what sort of insight I would have. I'm not
You don't
quite...
think or talk the way we think or talk, Adler Malik.
Yes, but that's been a bad thing, so I've been led to
But
believe.
Zero just told you how that's probably a good thing in this situation.
The point I was trying to make when I came here is that the exact angle that you were going at that actually got under Mountain's skin, and Mountain is very tolerable. You've seen the things he's gone through.
That's true,
What would
yes.
that do to a normal person?
Probably drive them up the wall.
Yes, and maybe say a thing they didn't want to. I'm
Okay.
fine with talking, though I'm not a very warm person. That's why I am with Mountain. I am more a thinker. I am more a doer. I'm nothing more than that, though. When it comes to personal interaction, it's not my forte. It never has been. It's easier to learn than it is to connect.
Very well then. How about a compromise? I will go to this location. I'll scout it out, have a look around, make sure that I know the ins and outs in case the situation turns south. I can at least show us the path of least resistance to return to the boat, and I'll accompany you at the meeting.
This idea I like.
As long as that's what you actually want to do. Just so long as you understand where we're at. The point of us coming to your room was so that we could be on the same page. It would be bad for us all to go in 3 different directions in a conversation to try to convince leaders to bend a knee to an invading tribe. it's a near impossible task, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I
Mm,
think
the more
another
you
thing
put it
that we
like
should
that,
talk about, though, is the carrot that we can offer them, which is not
I
just you survive. It is if you do this, if you say we'll ally with you, we will supply you, we will do everything we can to like house you, we'll give whatever these barbarians want from the Hall of Records, it's theirs, whatever you want, and you can use outside of our city as a staging ground, but we won't say that we've been attacked, and that way you can keep moving forward right on to the next city. So if they say, yeah, we'll go for it. So if this city goes for it, they should still prepare for a fight. And the reason they should still prepare for a fight is because if Lord of Autumn gets here and says, no, I don't want to do that, that wasn't the plan, I don't care, then we have to fight Lord of Autumn.
She would be wrong to cross us, especially when we delivered what she asked.
And so
of
the
us.
carrot that we can offer the city is if they do not go for this, then we are here.
Agreed. We also need to acknowledge the other fact that the Lore of Autumn and the Broken Horn tribe have intention of bringing people out of here to their homeland.
Oh yeah, forgot
Back
about
to
that.
Mahalanka.
Yes.
Eaten by the cannibal queen. Really?
I don't know if they'll
not a good name.
they'll be put into a special caste. Well, they'll probably live and prosper for their lives.
As Lore of Autumn suggested,
I know
they,
nothing about
they
this.
would be put to work. They would be given lives,
They'd
but
be
they
given
would transition into their society, which could mean feeding them to the cannibal queen. That is a possibility now that you say that out loud.
I really didn't.
That
want to
would
say
be
that. Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
transitioning into their society, mainly
We
the
didn't really
belly
dig on
of
that.
the
In the
leader.
form of sustenance. Ugh. Well,
Well, she did say that they could just like die of old age and stuff. I feel like it'd be hard to die of old age if you're getting eaten all the time.
Well, when you have a full belly, you don't go for your second plate.
I guess.
But I agree with your sentiment there, Mountain. One of the points here is overall safety for their people.
that's the
and
utmost concern of mine.
while they deal with it with a entity that Nachara does not hold love for, as the Immaculate Order and that of the like, which this force, the Broken Horn tribe and Roxy, do not seem to have love for either, begin to make their way in direction of changing the world for the better, quote and unquote. One of the main points to be made is that we are here and we are making our presence known because we want to see what is done right done. And I think that is hopefully the greatest sentiment that can be had.
That should get them on our side at the very least.
The character that we find from all of these other questions and strings of information is what makes that last sentiment worth it or not. That is the reality of this, in my opinion. We should also be aware that in doing this, we are putting the three of us in the middle of their leaders with all of the information saying, we brought this, we have information, we know what's going on, and if they don't like anything they heard, they will say, cool, you're coming with us.
It would make it easier for Lord of Autumn to get into the city. So
That's
there's
true.
that.
It's a little early,
bring them
but
their heads. That was the other option.
But just another point of note, we should be ready for each avenue.
Which is why we said we should be ready to have the boat leave.
Yes.
So the boat should undock and be on its way out of the city beforehand, and then if all goes well, we can always redock.
Then I will make preparations with Horace, and I'll swing by the mask shop, pick up a mask for myself.
Or did we
and
say
I
to be a
will
bit
scout out
outside of the
area.
city so they can't blockade us in? I think that was the plan. Like we would meet them a bit downstream.
I'll leave that decision to the two of you. Whatever you think is the safest and best.
Probably don't want to be anywhere where they can get a boat in front of us.
Yes, I agree. That doesn't sound like it would be good for us.
Okay.
All right. So how are we going to indicate that we are ready to start giving them more information?
I could give Uber a grape.
It should be a word we can all use because we all can't keep Uber grapes.
Or
Good. He likes it if you do that.
or it could be an action unique for each of us. If Adramalik were to give Uba a grape, that would be his.
What if Uber starts begging for grapes?
He better keep Uba in line. And Dirham shoots Uba a very knowing look.
Uba was in the process of working his way over to the tray of grapes.
Maybe
and
just a
stops.
saying or a posture that you could do completely outside of that. Like I'll just twirl my beard mustache a bit or something.
Sure. Or even if, so long as you can contain your energy, 3 toe taps on the ground. Just idle thought.
That would be too obvious if I
I
was
feel like, yeah, for Rakim especially, given the size of his
And
hopping hooves. Yeah,
and twirl your mustache.
you got it.
I will.
Dirham will break out his fire wand and
Well, this is how we know we're ready to get into more conversation. I feel like when it's time to fight, we'll all be probably on that right page.
All right, I'll make preparations with Horace then. And I'll see you all at the. Should we meet at the boat before heading into the meeting, or would you like to meet me at the meeting place?
You intend on scouting it out before we enter, correct?
Yes.
We'll meet you 2 blocks ahead.
Very well.
Away rather. Two blocks from the location.
Yeah.
In Unroll's map, points at it. This, the gist of this area. Look from out.
It will be done.
Thank you so much for taking the time to enjoy our show. Come back next week for the next part of our adventure, or join our Patreon for early access to the next episode, as well as our Patreon exclusive campaign of Rippers. If you like our content, consider supporting the channel alongside our first patron, Bubble Dirt. But of course, don't forget to check out our tutorials and video plays on YouTube at The RPG Blender. If you want to stay up to date on our releases, you can join our Discord. Check the description for a link. Don't have Discord? No worries, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at RPG Blender, or subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Music is The Punk Rock Show by My Free Mickey, copyright 2012, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution License. Thank you again, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms.